All right, on this podcast, we are going to be talking about two issues right now that we are going through. Number one is logistics, and number two is, well, actually, they're both logistics, to be honest with you. So number one, the warehouse, who will remain nameless, down in the States. I can't, Clark, I can't deal with it anymore. I thought that I was going to come into this business, $140 million business a year, owned by a public company, Canopy, and I thought I was going to learn so much, and I thought that it was going to help us improve Canadian protein, even everything else we're doing. I can't believe how much of a fucking gong show this entire system is. The entire time over the last 6 months has been us fighting, consolidating, trying to even understand the logistics system that was set up for BioSteel, to the point where we are going to bring it in-house and start shipping across the border so that we can control it ourselves, because they are so shit at doing their job. It's unbelievable. It's actually shocking to me. We have the proposal from Chris over at our other distribution center, who will remain nameless as well. And number two, I need you figuring out how we're gonna put together the prior notice for the FDA through the border. And remember how they were mentioning that in July that the system's gonna be set up where it's gonna be automated. Mm-hmm. I don't even want to wait. Okay, so what an FDA prior notice is for food products and nutritional products and everything. So what this is, we're essentially notifying the FDA of what's coming across the border, and then they have to provide approval for that shipment to cross. Right now, we don't have what's called what is a line haul. It's called like a line haul. So from our place to the U.S. border, there's not something set up that will pick it up from us to the US and bring it to the US. But that's something that I used to do in a previous business like 5 years ago, maybe not more than 5 years ago, probably 10 years ago. And it's not a big deal. The courier that we're working with on trying to put this system together is making it seem like a big deal, only because they don't have the logistics set up to bridge that gap between picking it up at my facility and then crossing the border. What I used to do is I literally owned a truck before, and I used to do it myself back in the day. So I already know that this is not a big deal. Are there apps that can do it? I don't know. Maybe you're convinced that there's an app.
I feel like
maybe
this is too big and recurring of a problem to not have an app out there that exists, or some sort of, like, maybe not automated, but some sort of really efficient system. And if there's not, then that's a fucking business idea.
So here's the thing. Typically what happens is people just don't do this, and people don't have the ability. Probably from our perspective, it wouldn't make sense for I
actually disagree. I think there's probably, with how much like e-commerce is growing, and also like how much international sales are increasing. Mm-hmm. Like, I think of all the packages that like between my wife and I that have ordered over the last couple of years, how much has arrived from overseas, from large companies. Yeah. That like there was not like a Canadian distribution center. It was getting shipped from the US. It's getting shipped from Europe, whatever. Yeah. Right? And like, I guarantee you, if some of these large companies, they're not having someone like individually create every single one of the prior notices.
No. But here's the difference. These prior notices are only needed on our style of product. That's the biggest thing. Like, if you're ordering paper towel here, you don't need a prior notice. You see what I mean? So it's a very niche style of product that you need prior notices for. Now, one of the biggest things that we're...
Actually, it's for all food products.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you said health and nutritional. It's like...
Food products and health and nutrition.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So, like any kind of like anything you're eating or whatever. Like, basically anything you're consuming. I'm not saying there's no app or whatever. All I'm saying is we're strategically positioned at a border city with Detroit in the U.S., that this is going to be a lot less expensive in the event we were in the GTA or whatever, because that line haul to get to the border is way more expensive. Yeah. So we have a very unique position. Like, I cannot deal with what's happening right now. Yeah. I'm done. I'm so done. I am done. Mm-hmm. So we consolidate the shipment. We create the prior notice. Like, what I used to do is I built out like a very rudimentary Excel file in order to consolidate the orders and the products.
Yeah.
That's what you do. And then on like a pivot table or whatever, or another file, you have something. The FDA will tell you what they want to show, what you want to see. And then you just submit it, and then you get clearance. Like, it's as simple as that.
So what are you leaning towards because I'm sure you've already brainstormed this. What are you leaning towards right now in terms of like a system to just get this started? Would this be in the form of like a VA? Would it be in the form of like
to actually do all of like the prior notices?
Yeah, prepare all of them.
One of the biggest problems is I don't know what the requirements for a prior notice are anymore. This was, again, 8 to 10 years ago when I used to do it. It might have changed. I don't know.
It's all simple and straightforward. Have you like,
It's very simple. One of the issues that we're going to have is, okay, how do we get the products to the border? But like Faro picks them up. You know Faro? Yeah. So like there's custom brokers here that have trucks that could just come and pick the fucking products up.
I know the like the main guy at Faro.
Yes.
I wonder if I should reach out to him, like, hey, this is what we're trying to do. Like,
when I used to do this, I was just a little bit under what the minimum requirements to do that were in order to make it profitable. Exactly. So that's what I'm saying is next steps. We have to do this until it can be an automated process with the courier that we're going to be using, because I can't do it anymore, dude. And then another issue that we're having is we don't have the same stock on both websites. Right. That's a major customer service issue. Yeah. Whenever we're putting out stuff on social media, what are the responses that we're getting? Not in the US, not in the US. And I trust me, guys, I know, but it's a big issue. I don't like seeing that. No problem, soon. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'd rather just get this dealt with, and we're not going to have this issue anymore. Everything ships from here, and efficiently.
So we do have an account set up with Faro already. If you remember, we ended up doing that.
Yeah. Probably for this reason.
And yes, and it was, and like we're already set up on both sides of the border, which is good.
Mm-hmm. I guarantee you they understand the prior notice system.
Yeah.
If we can have someone actually do the prior notice, did you see the rates that the courier was quoting us?
Which courier? What do you mean?
Like, doesn't even matter. Like, I don't want to mention because it's a competitive advantage.
Sorry, you're referring to like direct to consumer cross border.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
Did you see the rates?
Yes.
Dude, you know how much more we pay than that?
And that's because we're paying for every single time that they like pick a box up over there.
It's crazy.
Every single time that they're like putting it into a master case, that's getting charged. The sticker, you're getting charged.
Which is fine. I get it.
Yeah.
I understand how much you're actually getting paid, and I understand why they would do that. If we were shipping, we would do the exact same thing. However, the problem is it's expensive, number one. And then number two, I wouldn't have so much of a problem if they actually were good at it. Suck. They suck so bad. I can't even. That's the biggest issue that we're having right now. Did you see my email? The Walmart connection was canceled
for like 2 months ago.
For dude, like for an entire month, and they just notified us because Leslie was like, "We're not seeing any Walmart orders come through," and they're like, "Oh yeah, like the connection broke." Yeah. So then I asked Leslie, and I was like, "Well, if this was under our management, would we know sooner?" And he's like, "Yeah. We would have caught it way sooner." Yeah. And I'm like, well, how? Like, based on how? He's like, because we care. Which, he's probably conflating everything. But at the end of the day, it is one of the issues.
You all of a sudden have, let's say, for example, someone working in the warehouse. Let's say a warehouse supervisor.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you're having Walmart orders coming every single day. And then just one day it gets cut off. You're like, oh, maybe that one day's a fluke. But after multiple days, you're like, hey, where the fuck's the Walmart orders?
Exactly.
So you'd catch it with a matter of days.
So anyways, nonetheless, this is a clown show. We have to start bringing everything in-house. I thought we'd be able to keep the US. I thought it would make sense, but no, we're going to actually build out our own logistics in order to make it an extremely efficient scenario so that we can just ship through the border and manage the entire process ourselves. That's it.
The main girl, not the main girl, but one of the girls over at our customs brokerage, she was the one that set up our like cross-border account with Faro. So what I might do is I might try hopping on the phone with her like later today. Yeah. And just like be like, hey, this is what we're trying to do. Walk me through like everything that I need to know about it.
And we can use our own, like we can use the existing account that we already have. Like they'll already know. They just drop it off at fucking FedEx, dude.
Yeah.
Or so wherever, UPS.
My question is then, if you're going to be, so you want all the stocks to come up to Canada, right? From down the States. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I agree with that. How do you want to have the inventory split up across our, like, call it main holding warehouse up in the GTA versus, like, what's going to be here? Do you want to have it as, like, a holding cell and we just kind of have transfer transfers happen once a week to like replenish the inventory here.
So this is one of the things. So
and then the stock on both websites is linked to what we have here.
Exactly. So here's the thing. Number one, we can sell Canadian product through the U.S. border. That's not an issue. Yeah. Whatever SKUs that we have in the States that we do not have in Canada gets brought here, which is very minimal. Yeah. Okay, and that's it. And whatever we have that is in this warehouse gets sold through the border. Yeah. So not only does that this kills so many birds with one stone.
Now another thing too though is that like this inventory that would be going to retailers, obviously we want the retailers to receive Canadian stock, not the US stock.
Correct.
So how are we going to essentially differentiate like at our warehouse up in the GTA, what is the stuff that's like not to be sent to retailers and what
like Canadian retailers?
Yeah, just by using the SKU that has US in it, like
exactly.
Make sure that the GTA warehouse knows like, hey, any SKU with US in it, like that's not to be fulfilled for US orders.
Exactly.
I think also like when we get
that would be extremely simple.
Yeah, because it's a different SKU anyways. Okay.
And they would know because they're picking everything up.
So
and bringing
you don't want to change the SKU on it or anything like that. You want to keep like okay.
If anything, the SKUs need to be slightly changed because a lot of them are fucked up.
Yeah, we've actually
cleaned it up.
We actually already have it. Our new supply chain manager.
Yeah.
He's already been kind of going through and kind of one at a time. He's mainly focusing on fixing the what the SKUs are at the third parties first to essentially get it all consolidated into whatever we have on our website is like our call it like source SKU. Mm-hmm. And so he's first doing that to make sure that everyone's speaking the same language. Once we have that done, then we can actually go through one by one and figure out what we want to transfer it to.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. So I need you on this project, 100%. Like stat. Yeah. That's pretty much it.